Pound for pound, number one fighter in right now.
Damn dangerous. This guy, everywhere you turn, there's danger.
Islam Makhachev to win the title!
Whole wrestling background, whelming and stifling.
That's something inside of me. This is my job.
The 2026 Superfight we can't wait for, Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. No, we're not talking about Conor McGregor today. No one wants to hear about that fight anymore. Today, we're going into real news, confirmed rumors, rising tension, and the biggest potential superfight in UFC history, Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. And believe it or not, this one is closer to reality than you think. The 2026 collision course. Right now, the MMA world is actually agreeing on something for once. Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev in 2026 isn't just fan fiction anymore. Even Dana White, who usually guards fight announcements like nuclear codes, hinted at this matchup happening if Islam gets past Jack Della Maddalena. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Islam wins, that clears the path for what could be the biggest UFC fight since Khabib versus McGregor. Double champ versus double champ. Pound for pound. Number one versus number two. It's the kind of storyline that makes UFC history. The welterweight shuffle now. Let's zoom out and look at the welterweight picture. Both Kamaru Usman and Shavkat Rakhmonov are basically camping at the division gates, waiting for their title shots. But here's the twist. If Islam beats Della and Ilia is game, the UFC might throw the welterweight division into chaos. Why? Because Ilia versus Islam sells. It's spectacle. It's legacy. It's everything Dana White loves. Even if Shavkat deserves it on paper, business talks louder. And if Ilia's not in the cards, Islam versus Kamaru Usman at 170 is the backup blockbuster. A former dominant champ versus the current pound-for-pound king trying to etch his name in another division? Yeah, that writes itself. The Spain Superfight. Here's where it gets spicy. Veterans Big, John McCarthy, and Josh Thompson threw out a wild idea. Why not do the fight in Spain? Ilia Topuria is Spanish royalty right now. He's one of the most electric stars the country has seen. So why not pack out a soccer stadium? You think 50,000 people wouldn't show up for Islam versus Topuria in Spain? That's easy. Even AEW just pulled in 60,000 for a wrestling show. The UFC could break records with this one. Sure, Dana doesn't love outdoor venues, but for this, he might just make an exception. The Costa versus Chimaev beef explodes. Now let's take a detour into some raw drama. Paulo Costa just reignited his war with Khamzat Chimaev, and this time, it's personal. Costa revealed that Chimaev messaged his wife with threats. Yes, you heard that right. Khamzat went straight to Costa's family. According to Paulo, Chimaev said he'd beat her husband up and more ugly stuff. Naturally, this rubbed fans the wrong way. And Costa? He's fuming. He's fighting Roman Kopylov this Saturday, but made it clear. If he wins, he's calling out Chimaev immediately. They were supposed to fight years ago. Now Costa says this is no longer just business, it's war. The backstage brawl nobody saw back to Ilia Topuria. Weeks ago, there were whispers of a backstage fight between him and Evloev. Nobody confirmed it, until now. Evloev finally broke his silence in an explosive interview with Russia's Sport 24. And wow, he didn't hold back. He accused Topuria of acting like a clown, criticized his gimmicks, and said he's had enough. Movsar is so fed up that he's willing to move up to lightweight just to settle this. Even if Ilia loses to Islam, Movsar wants that fight. To him, this isn't about rankings. It's personal. Dana White finally addressed the drama, and in classic Dana fashion, brushed it off. I don't care. I stay focused on putting on the best fights, he said. Translation: if there's hype, there's a chance. Holloway throws shade. Enter Max Holloway, a legend, a warrior, and someone still salty from being knocked out by Topuria. In recent interviews, Max praised Ilia, but not without backhanded compliments. He pointed out that Charles Oliveira, whom Ilia beat, was on a one-fight win streak. And Volkanovski? He was just knocked out before facing Ilia. Max's message: the names sound big, but the timing makes them less impressive. Let's be honest though, Volk and Oliveira are still killers, and Ilia beat both convincingly. Max, who's pushing for a rematch, clearly wants that L back. But fans? Not so much. That chapter feels closed for now. The bigger picture. So let's zoom out again. Ilia Topuria has beaten Volkanovski, Oliveira, and Max Holloway. He holds titles in 2 divisions. He's 28 years old and undefeated. Islam Makhachev has dismantled Oliveira, Volkanovski, Dariush, and others. He's also undefeated at lightweight. He's considered the pound-for-pound best. Put these 2 together, you have the perfect storm. 2 champions, 2 monsters, 2 fighters who believe they're unbeatable. This isn't just a fight. This is modern-day Ali versus Frazier in MMA, politics of the fight game. But it's not all talent. Let's talk politics. Some fans argue that Ilia has had favorable matchmaking, that his opponents were on the decline. But let's not forget, he finished all of them. It's not like these were boring decisions. Islam, on the other hand, faced guys on long win streaks. His strength of schedule is brutal, but that's why this matchup works. You've got 2 different roads converging. Islam, the grinder who climbed the mountain the hard way. Ilia, the flash who sprinted up the same hill. What happens if it doesn't happen? Now here's the scary part. What if this fight never happens? What if Islam loses to Jack Della? Or Ilia gets upset in a title defense? The UFC needs to strike while the iron is hot. The timing will never be better. 2 superstars, 2 countries watching, and millions ready to tune in. If this falls through, it'll be one of the biggest what-ifs in MMA history. The legacy fight. If this fight happens, and all signs say it will, what's at stake is more than gold belts. It's about legacy. The winner becomes an all-time great, no debate. The loser, still a legend, but with an asterisk. Fans will remember this for decades. And for Dana White and the UFC, it's the perfect mix of skill, storyline, and spectacle. Spain, Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi, doesn't matter, just make it happen. Because when the cage door closes and it's Topuria versus Makhachev, the whole world will be watching. Thanks for watching MMA Psycho. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for daily MMA updates. Let us know where should this fight happen and who walks out the GOAT. See you next time.